Men are leaving, and they're leaving to go abroad to find wives, and Western women are not happy about this.
They're allegedly getting passports and traveling to different countries to find mates.
I honestly think it is true that men nowadays are uninterested in the dating game.
Well, that is true. Majority of men today are simply walking away from dating entirely.
Well, these men are getting passports and everything else, and I need you ladies to understand that, this is another way of manipulation, right?
The fact is, American women have just lost their values, They're no longer of value.
If a man is not approaching you, it's because he doesn't want you, or he's in a relationship.
The reality is, Western women are unapproachable. They're expecting payment for time. Kindly subscribe to the channel as it further supports us in our work. Thank you.
There's a lot of these guys that go overseas for women, right? They'll say, I'm not dating an American girl.
I understand that dating some women in the West can be a headache, but what makes you think becoming a passport bro?
Men saying, I've just decided altogether to avoid women, that it's better to be.
By the year 2030, more than half of the women living in the West, the USA.
This is a question for men. What is it about the modern woman that rubs you the wrong way?
You entitled God! This comment was just too good not to respond to. I honestly think it is true that men nowadays are uninterested in the dating game. And they're most likely the good ones, which then leaves us ladies having bad experiences, and then we, in hand, want to get off the dating scene. So then we're both left screwed because all the good ones are out of the dating scene and aren't interested. When is this going to change, though? Maybe we all need to come back together and make it work?
It will change when a relationship becomes beneficial instead of a risk. When women stop being the worst, good men will be interested in you again. Nope, I don't want to date again. Not worth the problems. Being single is so much easier and so much better. Nah, we got friends, hobbies, and our dog now. There's no time left for drama. I do agree that good guys backing out of the dating pool makes it harder for good women to date. That's a fact. When the solid, loyal, emotionally stable men start walking away, it leaves behind a dating scene full of players, manipulators, and emotionally unavailable guys. So, yes, I get it. But at the same time, let's not act like this is happening in a vacuum. The return on investment for good guys just isn't worth it anymore. And that's the harsh truth most people don't want to talk about. These men spend years doing the right things, being respectful, emotionally available, loyal, financially stable, and genuinely trying to build something real. And what do they get in return? Ghosted? Friend-zoned, used for emotional support, or only considered after a woman has gone through her fun phase with guys who treated her like an afterthought. So yes, a lot of men are uninterested in dating.
The 2-week-old unrefrigerated pie. Smart.
New trend here on TikTok is overseas bros. I'm not into the relationship stuff. I really don't care about it too much, but come on, you're using me for money. Go on overseas to prey on women who are desperate for a better way of life. Come on. You know why they're better? Because they will do anything you say to get out of where they're at. And then once they're over here and they got that green ticket, bye.
Shut up, bitch!
I'll say it because everybody else is too afraid to. The modern day woman needs to lower her standards or she is going to die alone. With a profound sense of purpose that she derives from her career, having traveled the world, with countless memories of her and her best friends throughout their lives because they focused on each other instead of finding a man.
I understand that dating some women in the West can be a headache, but what makes you think becoming a passport bro will make things better? If you cannot sustain a healthy relationship with these women in the West, then what makes you think that these Asian women are going to want you? Women in the West don't even want you, yet you think those women will want you. The change starts with you, and I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just letting you know that there are unhealthy habits within you that are causing you to have unsuccess in dating. But y'all don't want to hear that, right?
The reason these men can't sustain a relationship with Western women is because these women here are Western. They don't want a healthy relationship. They only see men for what they have. That's why they've gotten their passport. To say women in other countries will not want these men because they can't sustain a relationship with Western women is nonsensical, because those two types of women are very different from each other. Modern Western women don't carry the traditional values that these men are looking for. These foreign women do. This woman just sounds bitter. And the truth is, foreign women, especially in more traditional cultures, tend to value qualities like loyalty, family, and mutual respect over material status. They are raised in environments where partnership means building a life together, not competing with one another or seeing the relationship as a transactional arrangement. That's a huge contrast to the "what can you do for me" mindset many men experience in the West.
Men saying, I've just decided altogether to avoid women. That it's better to be single, guys. They're almost like happy about the fact that they're gonna make the choice to avoid the entire gender of women because they have yet to actually resolve the war they have within themselves.
It is not because they're fighting a war within themselves. It is because they found peace with themselves. And she was so close. She was just so close to getting there, because at least she's recognizing what men are saying. Because they're tired of the complaining, the double standards, the expectations, and the risk of losing everything that they've built. There is no unresolved internal war going on in these men. He just found peace and contentment on his own instead of using that energy and effort on someone else.
I want to know, if someone told you that you should be approaching women in public, people you don't know, in places like grocery stores, the park, is this advice that someone gave you, or is this like something you came up with in your own? Don't. And this is why. First of all, the audacity. Are you really gonna tell me you that's why I just think it's like someone told you it's a numbers game. Just go up to this many women, and you're not really thinking logically about it. 'Cause nope, not gonna happen. 2, we're strangers. I don't know you. You don't know me. We know nothing. The only thing in this situation that's making you come up to me is that you find me attractive. I don't feel the same way. Not at all. But I'm crazy.
You need help. These men are getting passports and everything else. And I need you ladies to understand that, this is another way of manipulation, right? So that way the man can blame the woman. Oh, it's your fault that I have to go get a passport and go find a woman in another country because I can't find a woman in my own country because none of them want me. But that's your fault. It don't work like that. This is what these passport men are. They're just looking for women they can go to other countries who know their place, know to submit. Any lady in it who's ever been in a relationship, we know that a male's favorite word to use with us is submit.
So the passport bros is gaining more and more popularity. And honestly, the ladies are not happy about it. And one of the reasons I think it's getting so much pushback from women is because what this is going to mean is that ladies are not going to just have more competition. They're going to have more competition when it comes to dating and mating. There's going to be more options available for men. And I think for many ladies, that just makes them feel a little bit uneasy, if I'm just being honest. First of all, the idea of dating and mating being competitive in general is not anything that we grew up hearing. A lot of women grew up hearing they're the prize, they just have to be, and the man will just magically show up, that, just their presence isn't up. Like we heard these things. And so the idea of competing, or the idea of, making yourself available, or different, things that you would do to make yourself desirable to another partner is very foreign, especially for Black women. And so now fast forward and you have this whole group of men that are saying, hey, you aren't willing to work with us. Fine. We're going to go abroad and find women who are. It's like a mixture of shock and disdain and disgust. And how dare you do this? Like, you're going to make us have to compete? How dare you?
It is disdain indeed. Those are the same women who rejected those men because they said they weren't good enough for them, didn't make enough for them. That's why these men are going away. And this woman is right, because so many passport bros are leaving. It will create competition for the men that are left in the dating market. And that competition isn't going to be in the women's favor. When the dating pool for men shrinks, the men who remain will suddenly find themselves with far more options, and they'll be in a position to set higher standards. Women who once felt they could always trade up will realize the leverage has shifted. Those same men they once looked down on will now be the ones deciding whether or not to give them a chance. The irony is, the very behavior that pushed those men away, disrespect, entitlement, and unrealistic expectations will be the same thing that makes it harder for them to secure a partner when the balance of supply and demand changes.
Women aren't getting approached anymore. And you guys wonder why? Because you guys are fucking rude. And women don't respect men anymore. That's what it really is. That's why so many guys don't go up to y'all no more. Because like, damn, she's probably going to fucking talk shit to me. Or damn, she's going to reject me rudely. Or damn, she's going to say, get out of my face or some shit like that. Like, the real question is, are women worthy of approaching anymore? I would argue most of you guys aren't.
Also, let's say they get past the first initial introduction and they meet you and you're rude to them, they'll smash you and leave right away.
And then women wonder why all of you guys are overwhelmingly fucking single. You guys don't know how to behave.
So many guys do this. I've seen this so many times with my friends. Like, you go on a few dates, you like him, and then you have sex, and he loses interest like right after you have sex for the first time. That's why I always recommend holding out longer on sex. Like, make sure he's consistent, make sure he's putting in effort, make sure he actually likes you. As women, we control the access to intimacy. You should not feel pressured to give it up early or think he's gonna not want to talk to you anymore if you don't have sex with him. If he really likes you, he will not have a problem with like waiting a little bit longer.
As a single woman, I'm getting a little worried when I scroll on this app that like all of the good single men, 30-year-olds and up or near that range, they are, if they're single, they're staying inside and doing exactly what I would want to do, which is like binge a show and like order and take out. Like, why when I'm scrolling, I'm seeing all these like cute men who look like they have their head on their shoulders. They probably don't. Let's just be fucking real. But they're all like staying inside. Like, what I'm trying to do is text a girlfriend and be like, hey, you know what? Instead of me cuddling into bed and binging all of Real Housewives, let's go out. Because I'm just hoping that one day, like, I meet my husband, like, meet cute randomly. Like, I gotta go out and do that, right? I have to, like, actually put myself out there. I have to actually do my makeup and, like, put on a cute outfit and do that, you know? Crazy concept. But I have a fear that all of the good single 30-year-old men are doing the opposite. Hey, get out there. Please stop ordering takeout by your fucking self and wait for me to be there with you to do it, okay? Literally, I don't... Probably gonna run into a douchebag. Pray for me.
We literally don't want to be bothered. It's that simple. We tried in our 20s. We'll die alone and content. Less money and less peace. Why would we sign up for that? The good single men go out a lot, actually. They just don't want you. While a lot of good men aren't even out like that anymore, there are still plenty of them who are outside. So when women ask for good single men who are in their 30s, they really want a specific type of guy because they walk past those guys all the time. They're just invisible to them. The reality is, many of these women aren't looking for good men in the true sense. They're looking for men who check a very specific list of traits, usually tied to looks, lifestyle, and financial status. If he doesn't fit that ideal image, it doesn't matter how kind, loyal, or stable he is. He'll be overlooked without a second thought. Meanwhile, those invisible men are the ones who would actually bring the stability, love, and commitment they claim to want. She's asking for single good men in their 30s, and the reality is many of those men are already married, in long-term relationships, or simply not interested in the dating scene anymore. The ones who are still single often choose to stay low profile because they're tired of the games.
There's this online movement of guys, I don't think it's organized in any way, but they call themselves passport bros. They get their passport and they go overseas to Philippines, Thailand, maybe South America, a lot of your more, let's be honest, economically downtrodden areas. And they see a lot of very attractive, very flirtatious, over-the-top sexual women who are like, hello, Mr. 57-year-old American man who can take care of me. And they get treated like a king. And these men like live out their retirement years in these communities and just say, guys, you're missing out. I come over here but if you ask them, they would say, yeah, I know why. It's because, yes, I provide for her and I help, it doesn't cost me much. The dollar is very valuable over here. I can spend $100 and they look at me like I'm a millionaire. And I take care of her family, and I do this and I do that. But in turn, I get treated like a king. They're reversing the hands of time and going back to the old paradigm, the way it used to be.
There's a lot of these guys that go overseas for women, right? They'll say, I'm not dating an American girl. I'm going to wherever. And some of that, I think a lot of that has to do with just what American women are doing now, right? And this idea of like, oh, America, is so pure and America cares about freedom. And you think of American homegrown values. You think of like apple pie and holidays, and you think of all of these things. And then you look at what's actually happening and you're like, this isn't happening in most of the country anymore. This promiscuity is being placed high value on promiscuity for women. You've got, a growing segment of deadbeat guys who are willing to pay for things like OF and aren't stepping up, in large part because you've got the masculinization of women and this feminization of men. Everything is really horrible in that respect when it comes to gender dynamics.
The fact is, American women have just lost their values, They're no longer of value unless they're from Texas. Texas women seem to have strong core values. They tend to marry their high school crush. They tend to have children with the high school crush, and they stay together. It's very much a family sort of environment. A few hours down the road in LA, this is where traditions are lost. Like, the women are going on serial amounts of dates with anyone they can find, especially students. See, the cost of living in LA is so high, and America in general, that anything for a free lunch is sort of the extent that they'll go to now. Especially like with rental payments, if they can organise a date 5 days a week, that's 5 dinners that they don't have to pay for, But a lot of these men in America are literally going overseas to find a traditional woman. Whatever that means to you, as in like, just be loyal to the one guy. I'll be honest, in England, people are quite loyal. You don't have to go all the way to Philippines for a takeaway.
The reason why so many women go on multiple dates with multiple guys at the same time is because they were told to by single TikTok dating coaches, the same coaches who are still single themselves, bitter, and constantly recycling toxic advice that prioritizes games over genuine connection. These women are being taught to keep their options open, never settle, and date like a man, as if treating people like disposable apps on a phone screen is supposed to lead to real love. The reality is, Western women, for the most part, have become hard to want. Not because they're not attractive or intelligent, but because the attitudes and entitlement that come with modern dating culture are exhausting. A lot of men are no longer interested in competing with a woman's entire roster, jumping through hoops for her attention, or trying to prove themselves while being treated like they're replaceable.
Yes, it's true. Men don't just want to marry a hot girl. Men want peace in the relationship. They want women to be a man's peace. They want to come home to a peaceful environment. Yes, this is true. They don't want a woman to be nagging them, cause drama, etc. But there's always a yin to the yang. Now, what does this mean? If you plant a flower in the wrong environment, that flower is not going to bloom. The flower is going to die. That is the same thing with women. If you put her in a loving, gentle, nurturing environment where she feels safe and loved, she will be your peace. If you put her in an environment that is not like that, she will not be your peace. She will be your worst fucking nightmare, and you will feel like she is nagging you. She is doing that for a reason. So men, if you feel like your woman is nagging you and is not being peaceful, you need to check your environment first. Stop blaming women. Check the environment.
Again, you have this all wrong. Equality does not mean treating men and women exactly the same. And I mean in relationship dynamics specifically. Men and women are different. A tsunami and an earthquake are two forces of nature. That is undeniable. They are equal in their ability to destruct. But they are different. They are equal, but they are different. Women don't want to be treated like men, the same as men don't want to be treated like women, because it's emasculating. Would you prefer that I start opening doors for you and buying you flowers and sweet little treats and stuff like that, telling you how pretty you are? Or would you rather I open the door when you come home from a long day of work in black lingerie? It is okay that men and women want different things. When we say equality, we mean full autonomy over our own bodies. We mean equal pay for similar jobs. We mean not being discriminated against simply for our gender. We mean the ability to open a business in our own name, if we so choose to. Equality does not mean being treated the same.
Equality doesn't mean treating men and women the same in relationships. Really, that's literally what equality means. This is called making verbal and mental gymnastics. What this woman is describing is special or privileged treatment. As the saying goes, women want the power of a man, the privilege of a woman, and the accountability of a child. They'll demand equal rights when it comes to career opportunities, social freedoms, and decision-making power. But the moment the relationship requires equal responsibility, effort, or sacrifice, suddenly the rules change. She said, would men prefer receiving flowers or doors being opened for them? And yes, they would. It's something that doesn't happen often, so it would make them feel good. Just to clarify, this is nothing new. This is cafeteria feminism, picking and choosing which parts of equality and traditional gender roles benefit you, while conveniently discarding the parts that require you to give something back.
I was talking to one of my guy friends about what it means to him to be a provider, to provide for a woman. And he's a little older. He's in his late 30s. And of course, he wants to provide financially, but ultimately, it's not just that. And he was like, I want to make her life easier. I literally want to take away her problems, her worries, so that I can say to her, what are your dreams? What are your passions? Now I'm giving you the ability to pursue your dreams and your passions because I'm covering you financially. I'm taking away your burdens and your problems so that you can do what you want to do with your life. That is what we want.
I did this. She cheated. I won't do it again. I doubt this conversation happened. I agree.
So men are leaving, and they're leaving to go abroad to find wives, and Western women are not happy about this, and they're making all these videos bashing these men, and they're saying how these men are taking advantage of these women in foreign countries. They're also insinuating that these women are less intelligent, and they don't realize that these women are also adults. They're consenting adults on their own. Some of these women actually might be more educated than some of the Western women. So it's very actually offensive to these women to just assume that this is the case. So I don't see the problem in letting these men be happy and letting these men find love. If it takes for them to find love to go to different countries and find women there, what's the problem? It's not hurting you. It's not hurting anybody. And also you don't want these men. So are they supposed to just stay single and just wait around?
It's crazy because the men that are leaving the West to go overseas are the same men these women claim they don't want. But if they don't want those men, then what's the issue with them going where they're actually wanted? A lot of these women claim that these men are just going over there to take advantage of foreign women. But let's be real, all of those claims are rooted in bitterness and jealousy. Because if these men are so undesirable, why do you even care where they go? The truth is, it bothers them because these men were never supposed to leave. They were supposed to stick around, stay in the friend zone, or keep chasing women who never respected them. And now that these men are choosing peace and love over games and attitude that threatens the illusion of control, the whole "they're just exploiting poor women" narrative is nothing more than projection. It's a way for bitter women to shame these men for finally doing something for themselves.
What do you think the largest purchase in your lifetime is going to be?
My divorce.
That's not a purchase, though.
I just paid for it twice already.
What'd you pay for?
As much as I could to get rid of her.
Okay.
When it comes to dating, I keep hearing people say that men do not like kind women. And if you want a man to like you back, then you have to be shitty to him. And even if that is true, then I'm going to have to be doomed in the love department because I would never be shitty to someone just so they could like me. Because number one, I don't want to feed into your weird be mean to me trauma kink. If someone that you also like, genuinely liking you back, is giving you adverse reactions, then I'm going to need you to go to therapy and come back when you realize that you only like people that are mean to you because you hate yourself. Two is I don't want to leave behind the world's most horrible karmic footprint just so somebody can like me. I don't want to pretend like I have a bitchy bone in my body because I don't. I'm affectionate, and when I like somebody, then they will know it. And I'm so proud of myself for getting to this point because it means that I do not need external validation and I don't need to be chosen so badly that I'll cook up an entire personality to serve up to men just so they can choose me. Because at that point, it's not being chosen. It's being chosen for your fake personality, for someone that you're not even. So if being sweet when you like someone is not what we're doing anymore and is genuinely like repelling people from me, then I'm okay with being single for the rest of my life because at least I can be myself.
The saying that men don't like kind women is an idea that's been created by toxic women pushing an agenda. You never hear a man say, "I want a mean woman," or "I want a woman to treat me like trash." What men actually want is a woman who's both kind and respectful, someone who brings peace into their life instead of chaos. This false narrative exists to excuse bad behavior, making it seem like men prefer chasing drama or mistreatment, when in reality, most men will happily commit to a woman who treats them well. The problem is, some women confuse being kind with being a pushover, or they think kindness means tolerating disrespect, so they swing the other way and become overly combative. Toxic women push this myth so they can justify staying abrasive and difficult, instead of doing the self-reflection it takes to become someone a man genuinely wants to be with long term.
A lot of men are now leaving it up to women to ask for their phone number, pursue them, holler at them. And we talking about men over 40. Right? And it's crazy to me because literally a generation before them, those men were the hunters and, you know what I'm saying, pursuing women. And I'm confused because I don't know what the hell happened. Is it the Me Too movement that fucked this shit up? Or is it the feminist movement, which none I am a part of, okay? I didn't ask for this shit. I'm trying to figure out who dropped the fucking ball because now we got a whole bunch of men walking around here like they want to be the fucking women and we the fucking men. And it's tiring as fuck, honestly. You meet somebody and they really expect you to like hit them up. They don't do shit no more. And it's really sad that we have these type of men now. But I don't know if it's our fault, not me personally, but women's fault as a whole, because we kind of made these motherfuckers like this. You know what I'm saying? Like scared to approach us, scared to say shit, scared to like even be intimate with you. Men are naturally meant to be the hunters and women are the gatherers. Like women don't even have a mental capacity to chase men like how a man is supposed to with a woman. You know what I'm saying? It ain't even in our nature to do it. But it's like we're being pushed into that. And it's not a natural thing. I'm ready for this shit to end. So I'm just trying to figure it out. I'm asking hard questions here. Like, what the fuck happened to these men out here? We need to go back to how it was, because I don't know how many of y'all sisters is built for this shit, but honestly, I'm fucking not. Okay? We need to put out a fucking PSA. We need to get on a bullhorn and be like, wait a minute. We want to go back to how it was 10 years ago. A bitch is tired. Okay, get on your shit. Send an email, nigga, because we need this to be a national campaign against whatever the fuck happened. We need to go back to how it was, because I ain't built for the shit. Let me know if you are.
First of all, generations ago, men never hunted women. This isn't catching a prey. They pursued women, showed interest, and courted them. The reason why they were able to do so was because women back then were very welcoming. They appreciated a man showing effort, and it created a natural, mutual exchange of interest. Today's women aren't like that. And yes, the Me Too movement did hurt us, especially men and dating. It made many men second-guess even the simplest interactions. Things like giving a compliment, initiating a conversation, or expressing interest now come with the fear of being labeled inappropriate or predatory. That movement really caused more harm because it didn't just target actual offenders. It created a culture of suspicion where all men are treated as guilty until proven innocent. As a result, good men withdrew, became more guarded, and stopped putting themselves out there. Instead of fostering respect between men and women, it deepened the divide, making dating colder, more transactional, and full of distrust.
The type of men I really respect are the ones that just randomly send you money. The ones that want to send you money because they enjoy it. I like those ones.
So can you cook?
Yes, I can cook, I can clean.
Yeah, see, this is why I came to Thailand, to find a traditional woman. See, in the United States, all they do
Oh my God.
is complain.
A lot of the passport bros will be like, men only want you for your money.
Well,
And then they go
30,000.
get their 90-day fiance on, and she's clearly just with you for your money.
Where if I'm working all day, sorry, I maybe don't want to come home and cook for 2 hours to feed you when you could.
Even when I'm not working all day, I don't want to be home cooking for 2 hours.
It's men that talk like this, that act like this, who hate black women. To be fair, he's also just comparing American women.
Well, he didn't go to Africa. He went to Thailand.
But he said American.
He could have gone to Jamaica too.
It's not like he went to a European country.
Yeah, but you're not ending up in Thailand. You're choosing Thailand.
It's not even about the woman. It's just cheaper in Thailand. You can't get no in America because the eggs is $10.
Unfortunately, we have to attach that to
no,
race.
but
to be fair, though, he was ugly.
But,
sir,
you are not fine. No, he's not.
You just have to wonder, why do passport bros finding love overseas bother these women so much? Really, all they're doing is proving why passport bros are leaving. If you listen to these two women, they just justified this man's point on why American women just complain. And that's the irony. Instead of listening and reflecting, they double down with bitterness and mockery. They can't see that their reaction is the reason so many men have checked out. A man calmly explains why he's no longer interested in dating in the West, and instead of trying to understand or even disagree respectfully, these women resort to shaming, sarcasm, and emotional outbursts. And what's worse, the loudest critics are usually the ones who would never have given these men a chance in the first place. So why the outrage now? It's simple. When a man leaves and proves he can be loved elsewhere, it exposes the lie that he was never good enough. And that kind of truth hurts.
God, I love it when a passport bro tells me that I'm jealous that American men are leaving the United States and not looking at American women. Because the ones that are leaving the United States to go find themselves a bride overseas are exactly the ones that we never wanted. I mean, and it's really obvious here. There's two really big things that stick out. It's like the emperor's not wearing clothes. Number one, you mean to tell me, sir, you have exhausted all of your dating options, which forces you to go overseas to seek a bride who really is only interested in your American dollars. It's really that bad. You got nothing. Because women, they have options every day. That is the case for all women. All women have options because women are always going to be desired by men. That's just the way the cookie crumbles. Number two, and this one is even more obvious. You mean to tell me that you can either put your life substantially on hold to go seek your overseas bride or completely abandon and pack up the life that you have here and start it somewhere else? That tells me a lot about your job. Okay, it means that whatever it is that you're doing is not that important and thus not that high paying. Okay, because if you can just quit your job, well, you don't have income coming in. If you can just up and go, that means, you probably don't have a really great work history or work ethic anyway. You are obviously not a business owner because small business owners cannot abandon their business, sometimes not even for a week. Someone who's really dedicated and it's just, they're not going on long vacations or they're working during they don't have time to go seeking kitty cat. in another country. If it is some sort of really important position, they're not taking the time away from their number one love. A man's number one love is his money, and he makes his money from his job. He's not taking the time away from his number one love unless that thing is really not yielding much and is that unimportant.
She said that the ones that are leaving are the ones they never wanted, but yet they keep trying to shame them, mock them, and bring them down. Why is that? If these men were truly unwanted, their absence shouldn't matter, but clearly it does. The constant need to drag them through the mud shows that it does bother them. Deep down, it's not about the men being undesirable, it's about the loss of control. It's quite clear that this woman isn't being honest with herself. She made the assumption that the women overseas are only interested in the American dollar. But let's be real, if that's true, how is that any different from what's happening in the West? Western women openly say they want a man who can pay all the bills, take them on expensive trips, or fund their lifestyle. So if money is the issue, then they're just projecting, because that same mindset already exists here. The difference is, many foreign women actually appreciate what a man provides and are willing to bring something to the table in return, like peace, support, respect, and genuine femininity. They're not trying to compete with a man, emasculate him, or constantly test his worth.
Women, you will never be fully fulfilled in trying to avoid men for the rest of your life because you are living in a state of fear. Deep down, women just want to have the love and protection and guidance from the masculine. In our innate biological nature as women, we don't want to do it all. It's exhausting. That's why men and women exist, so that we can come together in our strengths. Feminine and the masculine are the yin and yang to creating the life and the reality that we all deep down long for, because it is our birthright.
Okay, I posted a video last week about going on a first date, and the amount of comments from men basically saying they didn't even feel like it was worth it anymore to go on first dates because they're scared of feeling creepy, they're scared of essay allegations, they don't really feel like women even like them, or most women just want, 6'3" millionaires, the top 1% of men. They feel like a lot of women just use them for a free meal or dinner or experience. And that genuinely made me so sad that most men would rather just stay inside and not even deal with it because it's not worth it to them anymore. It just made me think, us as women, maybe we need to take a step back and be like, okay, what's going on? Because the fact that men would rather stay in than go out on dates with us, it made me so sad.
Well, it's just the truth. Plenty of women use first dates as a way to get free meals from guys. Even if they aren't genuinely interested, it's a game to them. They'll dress up, smile, and hold a decent conversation just long enough to secure that free dinner, all while having zero intention of seeing the guy again. Some even brag about it online, calling it a foodie call instead of a booty call, literally using men for nothing more than a meal and a quick ego boost. That's why many men are now setting boundaries, coffee dates, split bills, or casual meetups first. Not because they're cheap, but because they're tired of being used. Respect is a two-way street, and if the energy isn't mutual, why should the investment be? They gain the experience at the expense of using guys. For them, it's a win-win. Some women use these encounters to practice dating or boost their self-esteem. They'll say things like, "I wasn't feeling him, but at least I got a good steak out of it."